Check the loo.
Yep.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Guitar Stories Podcast, your number one show for everything guitar.
Hey everybody, what is up? Hey Dr. Dan. Goodness. Does Dan's mic work?
It does.
Oh, well, we think it does. I hear you, my friend. I hear you. Does everybody in the chat hear you? That's the question. Ah, yeah.
Oh, Guillaume Noon.
Whoop,
Yay.
whoop. So, for the first time in Guitar Stories podcast history, Dan is live from the very beginning of the show. Welcome, Dan.
Hey, welcome, Andy. How are you?
I'm good. I have been ill, my friend, as you know. I've done nothing since the podcast last week. I've really just existed.
Oh, yeah. You were miserable. I received those texts that were so pessimistic, which is...
It was like the other side of me. But,
yeah. That was very un-Andy, to put it this way.
Yeah, it was like, leave me alone. I don't like guitar, and I'm not in the mood to be funny. That was pretty much how it was. And and I didn't like food. I didn't do anything. It was just like existing for a week. So, at the end of my life, I'm going to try and get an extra week just to replace that week.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed for that.
How are you, mate? Have you been busy? Have you been ill? Have you been well? What have you been up to?
I've been good. Very busy, but well, that's usually the case around that time of the year. And I'm super glad to be back again because we've got so much stuff to talk about, and we have a great guest too.
We do. Shall we say hello and welcome to everybody in the live chat over on the YouTube channel. Hello, everybody. It's nice to see some familiar names popping up and some familiar themes as well.
Yeah, and also hello to all our podcast listeners. It's good to have you back, and we're looking forward to a great episode with you.
Yeah, we've got a guest. The guest we've changed from last week is possibly not going to appear halfway through this part like Alan did last week. We had
You never know.
I don't know, but that was so funny. I had so much fun with Jen and Alan last week that I could have podcasted for at least another hour. But I could see everybody was starting to just slide down in their chairs. It was funny. You might notice.
Anthony,
sorry, then.
Anthony's already there. Make weird music. To everyone in the chat, this is Anthony.
I've just been chatting with him on Skype, and he's going to join us in about 20 minutes. We're going to do some news. We're going to do some gear stuff, and then we'll get all that going.
All right.
Sarang's asking in the chat, is this week's guest Ola's Chuggo, and is he sitting behind Andy near the cabs? No, that over there, that's Bob. So if you're listening to this is going to be weird, but if you're watching this on YouTube, that's Bob, who helps me focus my cameras. He makes an appearance sometimes in the live stream. He shouldn't be over there, but silly me has forgotten to move him. But now he's there. We'll at least face him.
Andy, you got to explain who Bob is, because otherwise people will just assume that it's some kind of Austrian slave that's in your cellar.
He careful. He sits where I normally sit over there, and I focus my cameras using Bob, who was originally just a polystyrene head, but he's gained a wig and some glasses over the past few months.
Are those your glasses, like old ones?
No, they're sunglasses from my son. My son's sunglasses, who and they've popped the lenses out, because he's 3 and breaks stuff. But ironically, Bob's out of focus right now. Weird. Anyway, enough Bob talk. You might notice, everybody, there is a logo down. Hang on, down there, right down. Not that one. That's the Guitar Stories podcast. It's all the way down. We're gonna have better at this, Dan. No, you're on the other side.
Yeah.
We have a sponsor. That's why.
On the right.
So Bulldog Music Gear is sponsoring the whole of December, and Dan, we have a giveaway, which we'll talk about a little later. Oh, everybody, Dan's gone small. Dan has gone small already.
Again?
You've gone smaller. Oh well. Even smaller. Wow. This is quite a surprise. We hope to improve the connection speed at some point when Dan moves studio. So please don't blame Austrian. It's not my fault, I think.
No, just my fault.
But we've made Dan slightly bigger. Okay.
All right.
Have you got any guitar news, Dan?
Guitar
should
news,
probably
yeah.
play the little
Shall we
intro
roll
and do
the guitar
stuff.
news?
Here we go. News!
Yeah.
We're back. The chat is gone because we have some
All
news.
right.
Dan is super small. Dan, which news would you like to do first? Would you like to do your news?
No. Let me just introduce your news, because today Andy was very, very excited, and I was like, okay, what's wrong? And then I just read, all right, there's another new fuzz pedal, and I was thinking like, I don't get the fuzz about the fuzz pedal. But then I dove a little bit into that, and it turned out it's a pretty interesting news. Andy, can you give us a little bit of a rundown?
Yeah, Boss have announced finally the thing that we were kind of talking about, new Waza Craft pedal, and it is this, the TB2W, which is in conjunction with Solar Sound. They've teamed up, and Boss said they were doing something they've never done before, which meant it couldn't be the FZ2, which a lot of people thought it was, the classic Boss fuzz pedal, but it is a fuzz, and it is a tone bender, and of course I want it. I mean, I could just watch that little slideshow go round and round and round, because it's going to be great. I don't even need to review it, really. I mean, I do, but I don't.
Oh man, I mean, I got to tell, from the looks alone, I think they've done their homeworks. But I did a little bit of my homework on my side, and the history of the whole like fuzz pedal and Solar Sound as well is just so great. There's a super cool video out there, I think, with by the guys from the pedal show, in conjunction with JHS Pedals and Josh, and they, the video for sure,
I do,
yeah. And that's like a very good overview of history, yeah. And yeah, so what's so special, like for those guys, the uneducated people like me, who are not that much into fuzz pedals? What's the fuzz about?
Solar Sound. I mean, number one, it's British, it's amazing, but it's one of the OGs of the fuzz world. So, of course, we had the Maestro, which was, I think, the OG, but then we had the Tone Bender, which kind of, I don't want to say too much, but popularized fuzz, and it's a classic in the absolute true sense of the word, and it's the Mark II, which is the most desirable of the tone benders. It's Solar Sound have actually, or I don't know if it's still the same company, but they've actually been reissuing them recently, and they've been selling them for about £300, I think. And I thought about getting one, but I could not justify that. Now I'm hoping the Boss Waza Craft version will be around the 200, sort of. So it's slightly more affordable. What I love about the TB2W is the chicken head knobs. Did you notice those?
Yeah. I think that they also pointed that out in their press release, so I found that pretty funny. But it seems to be something that people are very, very, caring about. They want to have the chicken head knobs, otherwise it's not true.
Now that the tone is in the chicken head.
Yeah.
But it is cool. I mean, to my knowledge, that's the first Boss pedal to have chicken head knobs from stock,
okay.
from the factory. It's limited edition. We don't know how many it's limited to, like limited to 4 million pieces or something, probably.
It's a limited production for sure.
It's got to be good. I mean, I will get one on the channel. I will test it. I don't have an original tone bender. I did have a Color Sound fuzz back in 1995. I didn't know what it was. I had two, and one worked and one didn't. Picked it up at a car boot sale and stupidly got rid of it. So upset. Just quite literally gave it away.
Sad.
Yeah. So silly boy,
another sad pedal story. So what do you think? Like, what's the price point of this pedal? Because they've announced that it's going to be released in Q2 2021.
Yeah, spring
but no
2021.
price yet.
No price. Looking at the other Waza Crafts, I mean, let's go to the chat and maybe someone can guess the price. But looking at the other Waza Craft pedals, I mean, the Metal Zone, how much is that Waza Craft? So let's have a look. So the Blues Driver was about €150. The Metal Zone is 135 euros. The Chorus is 194. So I'm expecting between 150 and 200. I think if they go over 200 euros, I think that's taking the Michael a little bit. But yeah, there might even be someone in the chat who knows more than we do. So maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But yeah, I'm super excited. I know next to nothing about it, but it's got to be good. Got to be good.
Yeah, with that legacy, it better is. What I find funny is that it seems to be like a trend that the big companies, they're teaming up with like smaller, more niche companies. We had, I think, the Angry Driver, JHS, together, Angry Driver together with Boss as a 40th anniversary. Then we had, of course, Ibanez Tube Screamer with Vamaram. And now we have this little cutie of a pedal.
Yeah.
Interesting trend. Yeah.
And as you said, it's the legacy thing. And
yeah.
I'd like to know what Boss have added. You know what I mean? Because of course, putting it in a compact pedal format, that automatically makes it easier to use than the original because it fits on your pedal board. Because as you can see in the picture there, it's quite large. But what have Boss done to add? What have they brought to the party apart from distribution, the name, the reputation, the form factor? I wonder what sort of flavor they've put in there. Camille says about 169 euros. Stefan says around 200. Sarang agrees that 169 is a great price. Also, a big shout out to Mikhail because he's already done 2 super chats to help pay for better internet. So thank you, Mikhail. We should put that towards a tone bender. I mean, internet.
I think $170 that would also be the ballpark of the Angry Driver. So that sounds pretty reasonable.
Yeah. The Angry Driver is an amazing pedal. I love that pedal so much. I don't use it enough, if I'm honest. The problem is when I get the Angry Driver pedal out and put it in my rig, it doesn't leave my rig. And I'm like, I should really be demoing some other pedals here.
Yeah.
And yeah, the donation has worked. The internet is back. But it's not the Austrian internet, everybody. It's the German internet coming from Dan's place.
Yeah, Nuremberg area. That's just crap. Yeah.
Right. Also, I want to say something else about Boss. They have announced the HM2W. So it's the heavy metal, the classic chainsaw pedal. I haven't got any pictures of it because I kind of forgot. And there are no pictures of it. But the HM2 is having the Waza Craft treatment. They've opened it up to the public for suggestions. So there's a Facebook group you can go to and put your input on the HM2 Waza Craft version. I don't know. I don't know what I would change. I'd probably just have one button that does everything maxed, which is the apparent only setting that people use. So yeah, it's great to see the HM2 coming back, kind of, gear, because I've got 2 HM2s, the Japanese and Taiwanese versions. I've been meaning to do a video about them. Go and announce the new one, so it's gonna seem like I'm jumping on the bandwagon, but I don't mind. I don't mind. Anyway, enough about Boss, Dan.
Yeah.
Let's take that away. Let's talk about I don't know, this. Away. Let's talk about I don't know, this.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
What is this, Dan?
Today was release day. The first new items for the 2021 Ibanez lineup have been released. Yeah. So a little bit of a head start for next year. And this is the RG5 in wonderful fluorescent orange. And this is the emerald green equivalent. Super nice guitars. Actually, it's part of the Genesis line, so these are super affordable, made in Japan guitars. They come with a bass from an RG. They come with a Super Wizard 5-piece neck, maple walnut. And what I find so interesting about those is the pickup combination, because with the V8 bridge humbucker, which is a Alnico 5 based pickup, and the ceramic Infinity R pickup, which is a single coil sized humbucker in neck position. It's really interesting that they kind of reversed what you would usually use. Everyone is putting ceramic pickups in the bridge position, pickups in the neck position, but here it's vice versa. And it's pretty interesting. And I'm also a big fan of the single coil sized humbuckers, so that's a cool combination. And I mean, the V8 dates back to the late 80s, early 90s, and this was like the first amazing pickup that Ibanez created. It was the V8 and the V7, yeah, and I really like those. So talking about electric guitar pickup, because I just heard like hundreds of people screaming, "No, we had the Super 58 and the." Totally, I don't know why they called it emerald green.
Because that's
It's like
blue.
you see the matching dots.
Yeah, the dots are blue.
That's blue. Yeah, but it's called emerald green. Yeah, yeah, and the body is blue too. Yeah, it's a little bit too bright on the pictures because I shot those a couple days in the showroom, but it's very blue-ish.
What's the orange one called? Shocking pink?
No. It's fluorescent orange. That's actually pretty spot on. Yeah.
Nice.
And not to forget, those two guitars, they come with the original Edge tremolo, so that's a big plus.
I like. I love the RG series. It's a classic, but also as a playable guitar, it makes me play better. You know, it's such a well machined guitar that it just feels right. And I think Jen and Alan were talking last week about the RG, that it fits the body right, and it's just small and pointy in all the right places, but it sounds great. I really want to try those pickups because, again, as you said, the ceramic and the Alnico 5 seem to be reversed. That's a very strange choice. Is there any chance they're going to release one with a Perloid pickguard?
I don't know.
Good.
We'll
I hope not. I hope not. I hope all the Perloid pickguards accidentally burn. Because
there were some questions about. Sorry?
I've seen other. Just back to my AZ. I've seen AZs with other color pickguards. You know my bugbear. I think they look great.
I made a promise. I'm giving Andy a replacement pickguard for Christmas. So.
I just imagine you to have cut it out of cardboard and wrote happy now, Andy, and that's what's going to be written on it.
We'll definitely document that.
If you make one out of cardboard, I'll put it on there. Promise.
All right, cool. There was a question about the MSRP. Street price for those babies is $999 each. So they come without. They only come like in a cardboard box. They come without gig bag. They come without case. So some people might argue. But for us, the price point was more important. So made in Japan, $999. That's a super cool new series, and it's like it's part of the Genesis collection. So we still have the RG 550, and now we've got the 565. So this is like a growing series, and I'm very proud to have those guitars for next year.
I hope the images aren't giving too many people neck-ache, because for some reason they're rotated around the wrong way. But, I'm still learning. Would you like to look at the 1991 catalog?
Yes, please. Because it's also one of those interesting things. It's kind of hard to see on the right page. You see the blue guitar there.
Should I make it a little bigger, Dan?
Yeah, please make it great again.
I'll make it.
And that's a 1991 RG 565 with slightly different specs.
There we go. I got this. Sorry, Dan.
Yeah, so you see it's a basswood body. It's a one-piece maple neck with a reverse headstock, so that's important. Different pickups at that time, SB1 and HB2. But like I said, the V8 and the Infinity R, these are great pickups to work with. There's no doubt. It's a rock and roll guitar. But I really like that they are kind of reinvigorating those old classic designs. It's not a one-on-one copy. It's just like a modern approach to that. Pretty much what they did with the Pia and the Gem.
Don't mention Pia, because Poo Ninja will go nuts in the chat again, because they're all sold out.
I know. Sold out.
Actually, Dan, I had a moment this week, as you know, because I text you. I know we talk about the Pia a lot, and I know that I was there when Steve announced it, and I know I should feel more connection with this guitar, but there was something, I don't know why, something just blocking me between me and the Pia, where I just didn't. I got it, I just didn't feel it. I didn't have that moment. And then I saw the green one that you posted on Instagram this week, and I scrolled down, saw it. Okay, then I had the moment that Okay, now I get it. I don't know what changed. Obviously, it's in me, but it changed, and I was like, damn. Now I've got to finance a Pia. Or when we give one away, maybe I could win it.
I think you
Not gonna
already throw your head into
Not gonna happen.
into the ring for another giveaway, right?
Oh yeah. We probably shouldn't mention that. I've got a video
Nope.
to show. Do you want to show this video?
Yeah, please.
It's an acoustic video. Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's also another series that got debuted today.
Here we
It's
go.
called the Advanced Acoustic Series, and I asked one of our artists, David Sailing, to play us a little bit. So here you go.
He's very good, isn't he?
Oh yeah, yeah.
There they are.
Not a lot of people know him, but he's very, very good. So that's a cool new series, and I mean, I sent you a couple specs, and one of the marketing or the marketing slogans is it's 5% bigger for more sound and more richness, and it's pretty interesting to see because they did they came up with a different body shape. It's called a Grand Dreadnought, and it's 8% bigger, but the size itself is not really what counts. The projection is pretty good, so it's really in between a grand concert and a dreadnought. So you got a lot of mids, but you still have a lot of bottom end and a lot of highs. So you don't lose any kind of frequency, and it's interesting. And Ibanez has started this year, or even like last year, with the fingerstyle collection to build guitars for fingerstyle players. The ones that smack on the guitar and do those crazy like drum noises. And this is also a series that fulfills those kind of needs. So it's ready for strumming, it's ready for fingerstyle right out of the case, and it's super interesting, very, very good series, and I'm super excited to see what our artists will do with those guitars. That's pretty cool.
So in that video, do you know if he was plugged in or he was mic'd up, or is there an internal mic in the guitar? What's going on?
He was in this video. He was actually playing the flagship model. That was the AAD 300 series, and this guitar's got a magnetic pickup. You've probably seen right next to the neck. So it's a very small. It's a proprietary pickup, almost invisible, like from a distance. So he was using this in conjunction with the contact pickup that is under the top, and you can easily blend that in to get a very nice sound. So that's that's very interesting, because then you can dial in how much boom you want from, for instance, from the top of the guitar, and you also have the magnetic pickup that very nicely chimes in. It adds a little bit of that almost electric guitar tone to it.
Huh.
So that's very interesting. And also you have like a dual line out. So this is also like one of the key selling points for these guitars. Yeah, interesting series. And they start, you have the 100 series that comes even without electrics. It's just the body, so for pure natural sound. And then you have the 300 series with all the bells and whistles, so basically something for everyone. And we're trying to kind of recreate the acoustic guitar, not trying to copy any other manufacturer, just build something for today's musicians or even tomorrow's musicians.
So they're
like
bigger, right? I just want to clarify that they are bigger. The body's bigger. Grand Dreadnought, you said.
Yeah, correct. Grand Dreadnought.
What kind of price
it's
point
slightly bigger, and
what price should we be expecting to pay for the 100 and the flagship 300?
Well, the market price is always fluctuating, but we're talking about between 500 to 900 euros in that ballpark. And we have more like the 170 series. So, and it's all, I mean, the specs are pretty spot on. You always have a solid top, either Sitka screws or Okume. And then you've got Okume back end sides, plus the pickup systems. I think it's a pretty good deal, because if you pick up any kind of like mid-price guitar and you have to, install a Fishman pickup system or any kind of sophisticated system that is normally used for fingerstyle, you spend a lot of money just for the pickup system and for having someone install it. And with those guitars, you just buy them and you can start right away. And this is like the beauty of it. Like if you're into, I know, Tobias Rauscher, Marcin Pachawek, John Gom, those kind of guys, you go into the store and you bring a guitar home that you can just start practice on. And that's like also the selling point for those guitars. That's the USP. Yeah.
I'm excited. I mean, some people would prefer not to talk about acoustic guitars, but I think that we should still be talking about acoustic guitars. I enjoy acoustics. I don't know about the people in the chat, but they seem to be quite popular. And Sarang is now gasping for an acoustic for the first time in his life. Excellent news.
Well,
we've got something bigger, and now we'll move on to our next section. Dan, is that right? Is that all our news for today?
Yeah, I think so.
Then let's move on. Now, I have something that I did not buy. I was sent, and I don't know if I have to send it back. I hope not. But from guitars that are 8% bigger to guitars that are about 60% smaller, in here, look at this. This is an ukulele, and I will jump between ukulele and ukulele, but that is a flight ukulele. That's a Centurion, and it's very obviously a single cut Paul style thing, and I think it's brilliant. And I played it earlier and ended up releasing something on Instagram, which was a cover of Sweet Child of Mine, but played on this. And I think I nailed the tone.
Yeah,
or rather,
agreed.
Teamed up with the guitar, the ukulele. Sorry. Look at that. So just so you know, look at this. I'll get my back Les Paul for the people watching the video. Oh, bang, bang, bang. Right, here we go.
Wow. It's like mother and child. Super cool. Most important question, how does it feel to play on a electric ukulele?
Wait a minute, hang on. I'm just trying to... It's odd. I mean, I am larger than the average bear, and this one is obviously very small. I did set it up, so when it first came out of the box, it was not terrible, but the intonation was out, so it was not great. But once I nailed the intonation, and then it feels really good. And it's still in tune.
Awesome.
It sounds great. It's just unplugged. It sounds so rich, so full, so you know how when you want a guitar to sound good before you plug it in, and then you know you've got a good one. Really good. They sent me another one which looks very familiar to a certain Ibanez guitar, and that one was not so good.
All right, why is that? Is that construction-wise?
I don't know. Construction-wise, it wouldn't intonate properly, and also it felt a little cheaper. So I won't go too much into detail right now because, I've got videos coming, but I had to send that one back, so I won't be featuring that one much. But this one, beautiful. It's lovely. So cute. I even took it...
Anthony,
yeah?
Anthony just posted, he said, when it grows up, it'll get its extra strings.
Wouldn't it be weird if it did?
Yeah. How did you tune the ukulele for playing Sweet Child of Mine?
It's ukulele tuning, so G, C, A, E.
Oh, wow.
But and it's a tenor ukulele, and the G string, the one nearest your chin, is normally tuned higher than the next string, but this one is lower. So it confused me a little bit, but it sounded really good. And it's tuned like an ukulele.
So the feel should be not too different to a regular electric then?
No, it's just
like a low G.
Ridiculously narrow neck. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That's
but it
interesting.
sounds good. The pickups sound good. All the
Oh,
knobs and everything turn. It's a set neck, which is surprising.
spot on.
I just think it's not just a toy. It's an instrument. The other one, the Pathfinder, I think it's called, something like that.
Uh-huh.
I didn't gel with it. I didn't gel with it. It just maybe it was that particular instrument, but it just didn't work for me. This one, like I just knew as soon as I opened the box, and they've got one coming in gold top. Oh, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say that. Oh well, I've said it now.
We're gonna beep it out in the podcast then.
Nah,
But you
leave
heard
it,
it here on live
leave it,
show.
leave it, leave it.
All right. So, big question: are you keeping that guitar or ukulele, or do you have to send it back?
I don't know. My only answer is I don't want to send it back because I'm gonna rock out with that thing. I put it through the Marshall, what's it called, the Studio Vintage, the Plexi thing. It was just rocking.
Uh-huh.
It's
Awesome.
just so much fun. It's you have to kind of tame the top end with the tone knob, but it actually does respond as a gift. Christmas coming up. It would be good, but they're not quite available yet. So we're looking at about another 7 to 9 weeks for delivery.
All right.
But
Okay.
yeah, it's not just a toy. I want to really stress that it is a really useful, fun instrument. And as a guitar player, I'd quite like to put it through the Boss TB2W, Dan, if I'm honest. So,
Sounds like a mission. So you talked about that being a possible Christmas present. What's the price point?
I think 285.
All right, that's not too cheap.
No,
Yeah.
it's not cheap.
Yeah.
Firstly, flight ukuleles are great ukuleles. They have something in many different price points. So I've got one that cost me $60, and there's ones that cost like 400, 500, even more, I believe. But
Mhm.
they make good instruments, is what I'm trying to say. And for those of you that have watched, they're the same company, same parents as Jet Guitars, which I did the video
Oh
recently on my
wow.
channel. So there's a whole sort of history there and a lot of experience with the ukulele company going to Jet Guitars. So
Mhm.
it's new for me, but as an ex-ukulele teacher, which I used to teach in school, I could see kids really wanting to play that often. Sadly, there's none in for Christmas, but that might even be a prototype. I don't know. But enough about ukuleles and acoustic guitars. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Well, that was your new guitar day.
Kind of, yeah. Okay, so I am hoping that we get Anthony in the chat soon. Is there
Yeah.
anything you'd like to talk about before we do that, or should we just bring Anthony in?
Well, don't tell my wife. For me, it didn't happen this week because I was like so busy. I couldn't even buy something for me. I was so busy like checking for Christmas presents for the kids and the wife. And at one point, I was kind of struggling with. I was looking for a small piano or a drum kit for Rosalie, and it was so hard to find something. And I was really like, I was so in doubt with myself because there are so many offerings out there, but they all are super crappy. They cost between 50 and maybe $200, which is not little money, but you can tell that it's not great quality. So I was
Yeah,
really like, at some point, I was almost pulling the trigger. I was like, okay, well then, you know, you can check it on your list and you have a present. But I couldn't justify like not just spending the money, but also like just purchasing something that is not made to last like a year or so, and probably or possibly also doesn't sound great. So I'm still like looking for a nice like children's piano or a little children's drum kit. Yeah, no, I was having a hard time finding something good. Do you already have all the Christmas presents for your kids?
I don't know. Uh, almost is the answer to
Oh
that.
wow.
The hardest thing
Almost.
is obviously deciding on what they would be, and then writing
Hmm.
to, because we're in Austria, writing to the Christkind. Um, my daughter most wants a chemistry set that includes
Mm.
a white coat, protective gloves, and safety goggles, and glass things that you can mix colors in. To put her words into this.
All right. All right.
So,
Did you watch Breaking Bad with her lately?
Not recently, but she's only 5, so we've only seen it once.
All right. Fair enough. All right.
Just to clarify,
Well,
I know they're called test tubes. All right, just in case people are wondering if Andy's dumb. But I just wanted to say in 5-year-old speak. Boom.
Boom.
So,
all right.
I'm going to attempt
Perfect transition.
to add Anthony to this.
Yeah,
which,
please.
We're going to get an echo at first, okay? There's nothing I can do about that, but now I know it's going to happen, so I will cut it as soon as it happens, I think.
Yeah.
So bear with us for a second, because I'm going to have to add him. I've got him on Skype.
Great. We're not giving away his Skype name.
So Anthony, I know Anthony's in the chat as well. I'm just attempting to add him to this conversation.
Yeah, please.
If that doesn't work, then I've got a backup thing where I just have to start a new group.
All right, cool. So shall I do a quick introduction then?
Let me just make sure that Anthony gets this. And yes, of course.
All right. Yes, of course. So Anthony is a gentleman who just recently posted a couple pictures about guitars he's been working on for a somewhat like up-and-coming guitar player you might know called STEVE VAI. And yeah, and that was kind of what sparked my interest. And then I checked out the pictures and I figured out, oh wow, it's Make Weird Music. And then I checked the website and I think I already met Anthony. And also we have a lot of of our Ibanez artists on his webpage, because we've got so many musicians that make that kind of weird music, not just Steve Vai style, but also Jan Zerfeld, Panzerballett, who always does those extreme tempos and all that stuff, odd meters. And of course, Jen Majura, and and he's I think he's working closely with Matt Hatter products, so they do all those kind of modifications on Weiss guitars, and also for some other artists. Great modifications, very fancy and very useful. It's something like at some point where you just think, why has never anyone thought about that? So, but this is something I'm not deep into that, so Anthony can probably tell us a little bit about that. But going full circle, the guitars for Steve, they looked amazing. And that was the point where I asked Andy and said, well, to get the show, because it's just incredible. Also for some occasions, very fancy.
Oh,
hello.
Hey.
Hello.
All right.
So the guys in the video can't hear you, Anthony. So just one second while I add you in. And
no problem.
I can see you wearing headphones, so that's great. Once again. Source name. There he is. And go. And go. And you are now on the screen, sir.
Wow, I see myself. Very cool. I got to get some streaming tips from you.
Oh, we are not the place to go to for that.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah. Oh yeah, thank you. And Dan, we did meet at NAMM. I think Jen introduced us.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yep. So that was cool. I'm glad I didn't fall off the radar. I appreciate even being a blip on your radar. So that's very cool.
Oh man, thanks for taking the time, and you've got so many cool projects going on. And whenever I visit makeweirdmusic.com, which is a great, I think, non-profit project and website just that you created out of the love for music, I always spend hours on the website because there's so much great content. And all those videos, they're so well scripted. There's a video about you talking about your first jam. And it's just something, as an Ibanez geek myself, where I just can feel the love and that kind of enthusiasm that goes into your stories, and it's just it's just giving me a good time. Yeah.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Have you guys met, by the way?
We have not.
Andy,
it's so nice to meet you.
Thank you. You too, Andy. And I'm glad you're feeling better.
Thank you.
Heard you were sick at the beginning of the episode.
It was terrible. I don't want to talk about it.
So, Anthony,
Let me just get the tech side of this sorted. Skype apparently does not like. I thought it was my computer, so I put knew everything, and it turns out it's Skype. So we have our culprit. I believe we're going to be streaming to the same place. Yes, we are. So I did change that, so we will not have like 10 different streams going on at the same time. So I have managed to fix that side.
Yeah.
Give me one sec. Bear with me, everybody. Hello. I'm sure that Anthony was extremely interesting whilst I was away. So apologies. For that.
And he was telling the greatest story, one of the greatest stories I've ever heard, when the stream crashed. So Anthony doesn't mind to repeat that.
No problem.
On the audience,
One second. I'm supposed to do a live stream that starts in 40 minutes, and Facebook screwed up its time zone. So apparently there are people waiting on my live stream. Anyway, that's Facebook for you because their time zone handling is terrible. Anyway, so I don't know what you last heard, Andy, but basically I found out after hearing Steve Vai on the radio that my dad's bass player in his high school band, and even as an adult, grew up with Steve and Joe Satriani. They took lessons together from Joe, and they've all stayed in touch ever since. So then when I was a teenager and I heard Steve on the radio, I went from I'd never heard of this guy before to we're going to his house in January for my birthday. And then that Christmas, I got my Ibanez RG 565, the red with the red dots, that you showed in the catalog earlier. So I brought that guitar. Steve signed the back of it, and actually Ed Heisler has it right now, and he's upgrading the internal components with a Mad Hatter kit.
Oh wow! So you're improving your original guitar, and you still have that guitar, so it's still yours. You never sold it.
Yeah, you know how those maple necks get all filthy. Over time,
Yeah.
that's my guitar. All of the finish has come off of the fretboard, so I played the heck out of that guitar.
But that's the beauty, isn't that the beauty? This is why I like maple necks the most. Like if you play the hell out of those necks, they look so like filthy on one side, but also gorgeous on the other side. There's just something about those dirty necks, right?
Yeah, and when you clean them, it's like, oh, it's not as good now.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, all nice and shiny, but they don't sound as good.
Yeah. So do you want to talk about these Vai guitars we're building?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Please,
yeah. So let's first watch that video to give it a closer look at what the projects are that you're currently working on. And this is something for me. It was like the Swirl 2.0 kind of approach. It was when I saw it, my jaw dropped, and it was like, oh my gosh, I've never seen something that beautiful before. So Andy,
it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I can roll. I'm just going to have to go back to a different scene because it obviously crashed. So Anthony may disappear for a moment. Sorry, is it Anthony or Anthony?
British people call me Anthony, so it's fine.
Okay. As a Brit, Anthony, sir.
Right on.
So we are here somewhere. You've got this wonderful video, and I just need to know where I put it. And I really hope it didn't vanish because, of course, we lost the stream. There's the Ibanez stuff. There's Anthony's now gone. Anthony, my goodness.
Let me send you the link. I've got it pretty handy here.
Well, Whoa! I have it. It did not save, so when we crashed, we lost something.
It's in your Skype.
I can't add it in from there. I've got the actual downloaded video. Dan sent it to me.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to add it very quickly.
Okay. All right. And while we're waiting, I'll just let you know that Renee King, the woman who painted these guitars, I actually have both bodies right over here on the couch. She is in the chat. She's WRENKING. And she uses that same username on Instagram, so you can reach out to her and ask about painting your guitar bodies as well.
Wow.
Hello, absolutely gorgeous. Here we go.
Wow.
So we can actually talk over this if we wish.
Okay.
Oh, sure, yeah. There's music with the video. I didn't know if people were hearing it or not. But...
They are, but I've just dropped it down a little bit so we can talk. Because I have to say that I adore what you've done with these guitars.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, so obviously they're visually gorgeous. And Renee did an incredible job. She does something called acrylic pour. And she stacks a bunch of layers of paint in a cup and then pours it on the guitar. Normally, she's done this on the video's over. It's cycling now, but normally she does it on a canvas, and because a canvas is flat, you can manipulate it a little better. Mm-hmm. But because a guitar body is flat only in a few spots, there are a lot more difficulties. So she had to put in like a resin in all of the cavities of the body. Actually, I have the blue guitar without anything in it. One sec.
Wow. That is lovely.
You can see the grounding foil in the guitar. She filled all those cavities with this resin, and then had to paint it and deal with these curved surfaces. Mm-hmm. And the back is just as beautiful as the front. Now, Steve had said, "I don't want another swirl. I want something, one of a kind, artistic." And he gave us these bodies that Ibanez gave him for his own painting. You know how he paints his guitars. So these are primed real Ibanez bodies that Steve lent us. And electronically, this guitar has a pick guard that's painted also, but it has Ed Heisler's custom hand wound pickups, as well as the new Luminator 3.3 system, which is available on his site. And I can get the other guitar. We call this one blue, and we call the other one red. I'll get red.
Did we say, is it Ren King that's Renee?
That's right.
Yeah.
Because in the chat she's saying it's not resin, it's silicon.
Sorry, it's silicon. She's right. I'm wrong. I'm just winging it here, but here's the other guitar.
Oh wow.
Man, look at that.
That is such a showstopper.
And these are there's copper paint in here, so you can tell in the video that it's highly reflective. And in fact, in this body contour right here, you can barely tell there's color, but in the right light, then all this color pops out, and you can tell that it's painted. It's such a trip. You can't really. Even though I filmed that video in 4K, even though, I got these really close shots, like, you just can't do justice to how this guitar looks. And what's awesome about this one, and Steve hasn't played these yet, but Steve said he loved the Mad Hatter kit, but he was missing his original pickup configuration. So Ed built this 3-way toggle here, and there's 3 modes. One is humbucker mode, and it's almost like it's all humbuckers, and it's almost like a Les Paul. Then the middle mode is Strat mode, so it's everything is single coils, and it's a typical Strat pickup configuration. And then the front mode, I believe it's the front one, that is the VAI mode, and that's the standard Ibanez 5-way configuration on a gem. So it's really almost like having 3 guitars built into one. And then this Luminator switch here, I can plug it in and show you. It lights up, but Steve has something called a treble boost on Evo. And Ed had originally built in a push-pull pot to do the treble boost. And this is the kind of thing that only Steve's ears can hear. So like, like Ed and I are playing with it going, is it really working? Is it doing what it's supposed to? When we gave the original Renee guitar, the white one with the red flowers on it, and Steve called it, you can find it on vai.com. When we gave him that guitar and he hit that switch, he goes, "You solved it." Or when we gave him Evo, that's what it was. He could hear that treble, and he literally, his jaw dropped, and he said, "It's like Evo's got a new set of lungs," and which was awesome because he said, "I have for years been chasing down this way to cut out this part of the mid-range." And so Ed's electronics were able to do that in Evo. So this guitar is kind of an evolution of what what Ed put into Evo, and we do have a full video of what we did to the Evo, like Steve's original Evo guitar. So if anyone wants to check that out, you can just search the Make Weird Music channel.
That is amazing. So Mad Hatter Guitar Products, that's the website where you can all find those modifications. But what was the route to Steve discovering Renee's art and deciding that he wanted to go with something, or was that a suggestion from your side where you said, okay, Steve, if you're looking for something special, you might want to check out this artist?
Well, it's funny, my neighbor, Renee lives right across the street from me.
All right.
So she's been doing this acrylic pouring for a while, and I said, hey, could you do that on a guitar? And she said, I don't know. And then we got brought Evo, and actually it was Flow 3, his with the Fernandez Sustainer. We got both of those guitars from him at a concert unexpectedly. Like, it was the last show of the tour. It was in Phoenix, where I live. I told Steve, hey, you got to check out Ed's work. And he goes, well, why don't you just take Evo and Flow and put the systems in? It was like, what? So suddenly we're leaving a concert with one of the most valuable guitars in the world. And I think Ed said he wanted to take out like a new homeowner's insurance policy, because it would have been easier if he handed us literally $1 million in cash, because you can't replace Evo, but you can replace $1 million, right? Yeah. So anyway, after we dropped off Evo and Flow to Steve, he gave us these other guitars to play with, and I think at some point Ed also got a Gem Junior, the 555, and I had said, hey, Renee, could you paint this? So we brought Flow, Evo, and maybe that Renee guitar. I can't remember how many times, because I've known Steve a long time. I've been to his house. I lived at his house for a year, basically. So I don't remember when we brought him the Renee guitar, but that's the one that she painted. That's the one at the end of my video. And it's got the red flowers. And then after we dropped those off with Steve, he was like, could you do this? Could you change that? I'd really like this. And Steve had a wall of different Stratocaster type guitars that he was playing with, including like a 1964 Strat that was worth 40 grand or something. And so that's when Ed was like, well, we could do a Strat, we could do a Gem. And Steve's like, but what about, I want to get that humbucker tone. So that's where this guitar came in, because it has every possible pickup configuration in it, plus the treble boost. And I don't know if you can see the Luminator switch, but if I just touch it, it turns red or blue.
That's a nice gimmick, yeah.
It's a touch capacitive sensor, and on this guitar, it's a treble boost. He told me what it is on the other guitar. I can paste all of his specs into the chat.
Awesome.
So yeah, this guitar is a beast.
Yeah. The pickups, I saw those have some custom engravings. Are those Evolutions? Are those Utopias? What kind of pickups are those?
These are the DiMarzio Valorum pickups. They are his custom pickups. They have the Vi logo with the radiating lines. And Michael Mesker, who I got to know through Steve 20 years ago, he designed those pickups. He also designed the ones that have all the fancy cutouts and everything. And he's been doing some cool stuff with DiMarzio. But yeah, Michael Mesker, he works for the Zappa Family Trust now.
Oh, right. That is amazing. So, what is going to happen with those guitars? Was there a specific purpose that Steve wanted those to be designed for, or is it just to add to his collection?
These are experiments. It's a good way for Ed to test out new stuff. Like the Luminator switch was in Steve's guitar before he announced it as a product. So Ed uses these as an opportunity to get really critical feedback, and Steve will just say, no, I don't like this. He's not like a quiet consumer. If you build him something, he will exercise every single function. So he, like when we gave him the Renee guitar, I've got 20 minutes of footage I accidentally recorded of him just going through every single dial, turning every switch, playing with his amp, and he's like, most people haven't been in the studio with Steve, but when he's playing, you just don't disturb him. And when he has something to say, he just looks up, he says it, and then he goes right back to playing. So Ed kind of like was going back and forth with Steve for a while and got the feedback he needed. But these Luminator kits are available on the Mad Hatter Guitar Products site. I don't believe this is available, but I do believe the one in the blue guitar is. And if Ed shows up in chat, he can correct me. But just go to madhatterguitarproducts.com and check out those products. We have it's all Ed. Ed has the product that went into Evo with the push-pull pot. I think that's called the SVST system. It's all solderless, really easy to install, and generally will sound much better than the components that will come in guitars that are stock. They usually are using the lowest cost potentiometers or, just thinner wiring. So he's got thicker gauge wiring. He's got custom designed pots. He uses the highest quality jacks and everything. So if you've got like a 1991 Ibanez RG where the pickups or the pots are cracking when you adjust the volume knob, that's normal. But he, after 20 years, you put his kit in and you get just top-notch sound.
Wow, that
was me talking a lot. Sorry about that.
All good. We're
Not
just
at all,
staring
man.
All right, cool.
I was hanging on every word, so this
Awesome.
is not often that I'm quiet, but that was a great, not just a story, but information, and I can tell you're totally emotionally involved, which is always the most important thing to me.
Awesome.
Facts, facts are facts, but emotions, that's where I'm at. So
yeah. I'm more of a connector, like I play the guitar. I love the guitar. I have, 5 or 7 Ibanez's. I even have the RG9 here with the 9-string RG with the Mad Hatter kit in it. Like I just love the guitar, but Ed's an inventor and Renee is an artist. And Steve is obviously, I think Thomas Nordegg calls him the high priest of guitar. So, to bring these 3 people that I know together to do something collaborative is just awesome. And that's what I do with Make Weird Music. I just try to bring cool people together and shine a light on the work they do.
Yeah. Such a cool project. I mean, this is all you could wish for, to bring those artists together and to create something that is so unique and so I don't know. It's just jaw dropping, and like I said, everyone is just staring at it, and they can barely believe what this basically is. It's not just a gorgeous looking guitar, but it's also one of the most sophisticated guitars when it comes to the switching. So, and I'm super excited I'm waiting to see Steve perform with this guitar, because he's got his Pias and he's super happy with the Pias, but every now and then he throws in a special guitar during a show or during a live stream, and I can't wait to see him play this very guitar. So
yeah.
I
think
you've
it's
got to
awesome.
go soon, so I'm
Yeah.
definitely not kicking you out, but I don't want to keep you any longer. Do you mind if we just show that video again and you just see if you can talk us through it, or because people are asking
Yeah,
in
of
the chat,
course.
they want to see it again.
No
Here's the
problem.
video
And the
over.
video's on my channel, so you can check it out. So yeah, you see the copper paint in the lower left with the Valorum pickups. Here you can see that it's not like a typical swirl paint job that Renee did. On this one, I believe she had used a toothpick or like a stick to move the paint around on the guitar body. Doesn't. It's not a dipped guitar. She pours the paint on, and she does all sorts of things to get unique effects that you don't get in a normal swirl. Yeah. And then she sprays a resin on the top of it as well. So yeah, it's a very unique finish. The swirls, you dip the guitar in, and then you kind of move it back and forth and pull it out. You don't get the kind of variations that you'll get in what Renee did. These are truly one-of-a-kind instruments. Every swirl is a one-of-a-kind. I'm not down talking a swirl. But what Renee is doing is a much more calculated and effortful thing.
Sorry,
it's not
that's
just
my
taking
favorite.
the body, putting it in.
The white
that
with red
one.
flowers. That's the one.
That's the one Steve called Renee. I have another guitar with way more footage of that, or I have another video with way more footage of that guitar. I'll send it to you.
All right, we can share it with the guys then.
Yeah, I would love to.
Super cool. Do you know how much time does it take Renee to paint a guitar like this?
That's a tough one because I don't think she would have an answer because I think she redid this guitar like 3 or 4 times.
Oh wow!
We have literally a pile of template bodies that she tested on that I brought to Steve, and he was like, "Okay, I like this. I don't want that." And I built this studio with Renee's husband in my backyard, and the extra 2x12 wood that's in the ceiling that we didn't use ended up becoming all those body templates. So let nothing go to waste.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I think she would probably say if the body is primed, if it's ready to be painted, she could probably get one done in a couple of hours, and then there's the putting the finishing touches on it, the resin and all that stuff. But really reach out to her. She's the expert. Renee, you can share your contact info on the in the chat, or just Ren King, WRENKING, on Instagram. You can direct message her. And then obviously Mad Hatter Guitar Products. They have quite a following. Just go to madhatterguitarproducts.com. Check out their products. Steve's right on the front page. I think you click on his face and you go to his kits.
Yeah.
Do
Amazing.
that right now with Renee. There she is.
Right.
Boom.
We'll definitely
following.
tag her as soon as we release the episode, and also on Instagram. If I've cut the podcast, we'll definitely tag her so that people can reach out to her if they want to have a guitar painted. And I sent out the video, link to a couple of Ibanez artists, and they were all like, "Oh my gosh, this is so inspiring."
Yeah, Jen actually, she and I we were texting about it, and we need to get something set up for her. But I do have an interview video that I filmed with Renee and Ed here in the studio, and I will be releasing that hopefully in the next few weeks.
Right,
I have to go. I've got to go do my own live stream. Thank you so much, guys.
Send us
Thank
the
you.
links, man, and we'll share them for you because that's a truly interesting project. Thank you.
She's going to do my RG9. We're probably going to film that whole process. So we'd be happy to both. I mean, she could just have crossed the street and come here, but we'll have to maybe get all 3 of us on another episode or something.
Oh, that would be amazing.
I'd love to.
Yeah.
I'd love to.
All right, cool. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for your time.
You.
Thanks
everyone in the chat. Bye.
So Anthony's gonna hopefully hang up. There we go.
Yeah.
There he's gone.
Oh man.
Wow, that is some guitar porn, man. That's like next level modding, next level paint job. It's beautiful.
That was also next level guitar stories telling.
Yeah.
Holy moly. Well, I go to Steve's house every now and then.
Here, he gave me Evo.
Yeah. I mean, that is insane. Imagine you go home with two guitars of your guitar hero, and he hands them to you and goes, "All right, do your thing with it."
Yeah, I mean, but I guess, I know that say Evo, for example, is worth so much money, but to Steve, it's just another guitar, and Steve does not seem like the kind of guy that sort of stands still and just continues doing the same old. It seems like he's always innovating and always trying to push things a little bit further. Me talking as if I know what I'm talking about, I don't. It's just an observation of what the man does. But yeah, beautiful stuff.
I think I wouldn't even assume that he's not emotionally involved into the guitars, because sometimes he retires some instruments.
Yeah.
But he's more like, it's always music first and then comes the gear, and achieving a certain tone is part of the process. It's not just like you reach the tone and then you cross the checklist. No, it's like the process. It's like almost a meditative approach for him. And like you said, he's a guru. He's the guitar guru, the high priest.
The high priest.
Yeah.
Dan, we still have a few things to go over today.
Sure.
We will not leave away Mandalorian talk, of course. We will always complete that in a moment. But we have the first part of the giveaway.
Yes.
So As I mentioned before, the Guitar Stories podcast is sponsored by Bulldog Music Gear in December 2020, and they have sent us something to give away. And did you, Dan, decide on some way we're going to give this away? Because we want to make it fair for everybody. You did?
Yeah.
Excellent, because I kind of forgot.
Yeah.
So I'll show you what it is first. So that's the guitar. It's not the guitars, okay? So don't get too freaked out. It's not those guitars. It's the hanger. So we're giving away a guitar hanger, which is made out of aluminium, and that's an anti-grav one that just happens to be rotated. I've got one. It's a freestanding one I've got. We're giving away the wall hanger, and I have one of those also. Whoops, there's Anthony again. Right here. It's in this box, and the one I have is red and comes with a safety clip. I haven't actually taken it out of the box yet, so it's got that brand new box smell. There's a bit of ASMR. For all our ASMR freaks. I don't know if I'm going to do a review on the channel, but there is something I would like to say about this this hanger. This is the red one, which kind of looks like it should be on Red Dwarf. You know what I mean? Looks like a part of a
Yeah.
Mando.
Very steampunky, to be honest.
Yeah. You've got this. Making a hell of a mess of this now, but it's got, where is it? These things, and these are felt circles. That if you're on the podcast, the audio version of this, then check out Instagram, because it's got felt circles that go on the hanger, so it doesn't react with nitro, and it doesn't react with any paint. Because with the rubber stuff you can get, which there are some great wall hangers out, but these ones don't react with your paint. And the thing that I really like about this is it's got one screw to install, which may not seem like such a big deal, but if you ever tried to hang a guitar on the wall with two screws, and if you're maybe not too cool, you might get a little bit wonky.
Yeah.
Not with this one.
So this is basically for home improvement idiots.
Yes.
Like me.
Yeah, and it comes with everything. So you've got the plug that goes in the wall, and the screw that goes in the wall is also the screw that attaches to there. So there's one piece.
Wow, that's a massive screw.
It is. Yeah, so I know it's, and I'll say this with care, it's only a guitar hanger, but I am excited about it because it seems like a really good one. And, you know, I've run out of other fun things to buy this Christmas, so we have one to give away. I think the winner can choose the color. I'm not sure. But Dr. Dan.
Yeah.
How can someone walk away with one of these, please?
All right. I'm correct that we are giving it away at the end of December.
Correct.
So you got to watch the next 3 episodes, and you basically already have watched this episode. So it's 4 episodes, and then you can win this. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. So we need there will be a sentence that is the solution to or that allows you to participate. And today's keyword is the last name of the wonderful artist that created the custom guitars for STEVE VAI.
Oh, so the artist, not the electronics, the artist.
Nope, the artist.
Oh, that's good. That's good. You might have to rewind this podcast if you weren't listening properly, like I wasn't. But,
spoiler alert! You can check out Instagram and go type in Renking, WRENKING.
I'm gonna look right now to see how long that takes. It takes literally seconds, Dan. People could do this in seconds.
But here's the thing: if you go to her account, you see all the magic she creates, so you get a better look of her artistry. Isn't that nice?
It's really also she does like the pottery stuff as well. It's not just guitars, you know.
Nope. She's a true artist.
Wow. There's a question in the chat about the hanger. Can you rotate it for things like Telecasters? Yes, it completely rotates that way depending on the angle of the guitar. So if the guitar is hanging down on that one side, it will rotate. Yeah. I stand by those hangers. They're really good. And it one thing, if I'm going to knock it a little bit, it doesn't have anything that stops the guitar coming off, which is why there's an optional lock that goes on there. But you will be winning the lock as well. Courtesy.
I love the
Bulldog
felt
Music
idea.
Gear.
It's really great. It's really great.
It kind of makes sense, doesn't it? And you can add and
Absolutely.
yeah, you can buy replacements if something goes wrong. But yeah, I stand by them. I've got one. It's really nice. In fact, behind me just here, that's going to get replaced with these Bulldog hangers, and my Nitro guitars are going to go on there. There we go.
Awesome.
So once again, what was the question, Dan? To complete the sentence. This week it is.
Well, we have it would be 4. The solution would be 4 words, and the first word is the last name of the artist that created STEVE VAI's custom guitars that we just saw.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
All right. Well. Grogu.
So, spoiler, I think we can do spoilers now for Mandalorian because it's been out quite a few days. If you haven't watched it, then spoiler alert. This is an artist formerly known as The Child.
AKA Baby Yoda.
AKA Baby Yoda. AKA Grogu.
Yeah. How do you like the name?
I was shocked when they announced the name. I was like, whoa, I totally was. It's like when someone says I love you when you're in a relationship and you're not there yet, I was totally confused because yeah. I wasn't expecting it. I kind of got a bit sad because I'm like, does he need a name? Child. But yeah, I'm not 100% sold on the name, but I think that's because if they named him Yoda and pretend that Yoda didn't exist, if they named this Yoda, we go, Yoda? What is a stupid name? But because we know the name Yoda, because we know these names and they're forced upon us from the beginning, then I think that's different. But Grogu, it's very Star Warsy. How do you feel about it?
I found it a little bit silly. First when I heard it, I was like, did someone just cough? But I don't know. I mean, the female Yoda is called Yaddle. So how much better is that? It's almost like yodeling or something. So I can live with Grogu, but I think for the majority of Mandalorian fans, it will still be either Baby Yoda or the Child.
Yeah.
Mark the Child. I think I saw it on the Lego boxes that no longer say the Mandalorian. They say the Mandalorian and the Child. So
TM.
That's a big thing, obviously. Yeah, TM, correct.
Get me a biscuit.
Use the Force. I wonder, actually, honest question. I wonder what happened to Grogu during the Clone Wars. What happened when Anakin walked into the Jedi Temple? Where was Grogu? Was he taking a dump?
66, yeah.
Did Anakin call him the night before and tell him, don't go to the temple tomorrow?
I don't know, but
I don't know.
I don't know. I hope they explain, but also hope they don't give us some kind of bull crap explanation, So far, The Mandalorian has not really disappointed me as a whole. Some of the episodes have not been life-changing, but as a whole, as a concept, it's really made me happy. Please don't mess up that.
Yeah. Actually, it's a good point that you bring up the episode itself. Everyone was so super psyched about the last episode. And I gotta say, as an episode, as a plot, I think it was a very lackluster episode. It was really down to the aesthetics of Ahsoka being that kind of, is she a Jedi or semi-Jedi or whatever? Because she's obviously not a real Jedi because she got rejected from the Order, but I mean she does all the all the fighting with so much grace, and it's just she's a Jedi. To me, she's a Jedi. Let's just say she's a Jedi.
I absolutely
that was just
consider her one.
She's like a stealth Jedi. She's so super cool and super smooth, and the way she fights, and with the dual lightsabers that are white. Yeah, I think it was a good choice to kind of move her into like the real life action, and you know, take her out of the Clone Wars and just being a cartoon character.
I have to bring in Sarang from the chat right now because he's saying
Yeah.
that Grogu was taken away and kept in hiding, which they did mention in the episode. But I want to know how. I want to know by whom and what for,
Correct.
and you know what was the decision to do that. And also he says that white sabers means she uses the Force, but is neither Jedi nor Sith. So
yeah, that's what I thought. Like she's kind of on the edge of society and also of the order. So
I love the episode.
particularly
I agree with you. It wasn't particularly the story wasn't exactly again life changing, but there was so much fun, and that's what I love about the Mandalorian. It's just serving the fans and just giving great entertainment. And even though some people are complaining that it's linear storytelling, I like it. It's old style storytelling. It's this Western kind of. It just ticks all those boxes for me. It makes me happy, and no one's gonna dump on that.
No, it's old school. It's old school, but that's what I also like about it. And you know what? When I saw Ahsoka wielding those dual lightsabers, I was just imagining Grogu doing the same once he grows up.
I got quite touched when she said.
Amazing.
I got touched when she said, "You're a dad or something." You're a dad with a child, you know. So it's the second time I think that someone's referred to him as being a father.
Yeah.
But, you know, when the Mandalorian's when he's walking around like that, holding him, I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. Oh my goodness, so cute.
Yeah, I honestly hope that they can kind of get some traction on the overall arc to kind of get some drive into the rest of the story, because there's not a lot to tell, but holy moly, Thrawn as like the ultimate end boss in the Mandalorian. Oh, I was so happy. I gotta say, I love the novels by Timothy Zahn, and I'm super happy that they now they took Thrawn and now threw him into the official Disney canon, and this is great, because then he will be an actual character and we'll get some Thrawn action.
I haven't done the novels, so I only know from from outside looking in. But knowing that there's so many different versions, and this is canon and that's not canon, and knowing that that's in the Mandalorian, I think like we say in the universe now, it's like with Marvel universe, they totally kind of did what they wanted with that, and that's in that universe, but it's an X-Men universe, but not in Marvel. And now to have so much possibility in the Mandalorian, and something that I text you was that. I've recently gotten to Reddit, as you know, Dan. But if you're listening or watching this, if you know what Reddit is, then great. If you don't, then I don't know what it is either. But they say it's the front page of the internet, and I'm having a lot of fun hanging out there. I used to be into 9gag, but 9gag just seems to be reposting Instagram and Twitter stuff these days. It's become too mainstream, I'm trying to get back to my roots, and Reddit's where it's at. Anyway, in the Mandalorian subreddit, someone posted that. There's no canon death for Jar Jar Binks, meaning that Jar Jar Binks could show up in the Mandalorian. And I would absolutely love to see a slight, like maybe a one-eyed, slightly bitten off, whatever those dreadlock ear kind of things are, sort of war-scarred Jar Jar, just coming in and doing his thing.
Oh, wow. All right. I see.
I know that's not going to be a popular opinion, but I'd really like to see it. But not the Jar Jar that we met in episode 1, but a Jar Jar that has been through some stuff, like a Walter White kind of experience. And yeah, me so happy.
What are you so saying? Huh?
General Binks of the New Republic, says Sarang in the chat. That's what I'm saying. Imagine how much. I mean, that would break the internet, surely.
Yeah.
And if they're not doing it, I'm sure that Jon Favreau listens to this podcast and he's thinking about it now for season 3.
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, That's a really great theory. But I just want to come back to Thrawn because Thrawn was in Rebels already. So I think General Thrawn was already, or Grand General Thrawn was already part of the canon. But again, like taking him into the real life action is just a stroke of genius. And I'm looking forward to see how they implement Moff Gideon and Thrawn and the whole like laboratory kind of scenario, and build that kind of arc that everyone is looking for, to have that a little bit more drive, because last episodes they were a little bit slower in pace and also in driving the story itself. But there's so much in store in the future, and I think they already confirmed season 3 and season 4, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm really excited to see what's waiting for us. Yeah.
Off camera, did you not say that they've decided on an end? Like there's not going to be maybe 10, maybe 15 seasons. Was it you that I was talking to about this?
No. I think for the Obi-Wan Kenobi spin-off, they decided that it's only supposed to be 6 or 8 episodes, if I'm not mistaken. But I think Mando, I mean, that's a cash cow.
But also, I like the idea of them saying it's only going to be 5 seasons, or there's a point to the end. There's an end, goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Next week's guest, Jon Favreau.
Taking it back to Christmas, I watched the Christmas movies that made us on Netflix today. I caught a bit of that while I was having my lunch, and Jon Favreau directed Elf with Will Ferrell.
Wow, I didn't know that.
No, it was his second ever directing job, and it's a really interesting show on Netflix. The Christmas movies that made us. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. And it goes into how Elf was a team of nobodies that made one of the greatest Christmas movies ever. Yeah. So Jon Favreau.
Is that your Christmas movie, or what's your favorite Christmas movie? Like the one you have to watch.
Die Hard.
Every other movie can go, but this one you got to watch before Christmas.
Die Hard.
Die Hard.
It's not Christmas until Hans Gruber falls off the Nakatomi building.
Yeah.
And I know that some people, including Bruce Willis, say that it's not a Christmas movie, but I watch it every Christmas alone with some Christmas goodies, and eat and drink too much and enjoy watching Welcome to the Party, pal, and all that sort of stuff. I love it. It's a life-changing movie for me. What's your favorite Christmas movie?
I gotta say, like when I was a child or a teenager, also Die Hard. But now with a family, I also like Actually Love, because it's got such a good and such a good and a British sense of humor.
Well, Love Actually is my favorite movie.
Oh wow! Okay.
So I mean that changes daily, but I can't have a favorite. But Love Actually is such a beautiful movie. Yeah. So welcome to Guitar Stories podcast.
Actually, it's interesting because I'm not sure if everyone is aware that Andrew Lincoln from The Walking Dead is also acting in Actually Love.
And there's the zombie thing, or the mummy, isn't there? Until you look like this, and then Keira Knightley has a really annoying face in that movie. I don't like her face in that. Not her face, but her expressions.
Yeah. It's very, very limited. Yeah. But you got to say it's a very romantic scene once he pulls out the cards and he has the Christmas singers. That's a very nice scene. So if you haven't watched Actually Love, do it and do something good for your soul. And then watch Die Hard and do something, for Andy.
For Andy, yeah. Think of me when watching Die Hard and he's crawling through stuff. Totally off topic now. I read the book that Die Hard was based on, and that book is rubbish.
How's that called?
I can't remember. Something that isn't Die Hard. Something. But Die Hard, about the making of Die Hard, that's also on a Netflix show somewhere, and that was all. They were making that. They're making it up as they were going along, which is why there are actually so many mistakes in the movie. And I think, can I give away a spoiler to Die Hard? Now it's been a few years, probably. You know when he's fighting Carl and he manages to wrap him in the chain and then swing him along and he hits the wall, bang. And then in the next scene, Bruce Willis is kind of like recovering. Carl sat next to him in the background, just off the side of him. He's not even in the background shot. The actor's just sort of sat there. So next time when you watch Die Hard and he wraps Carl and John McClane wraps him and smack, and then John McClane has a little sit down, watch on the right-hand side of the screen, you see the actor that plays Carl just kind of hanging out. It's amazing.
Oh, cool. And Sarang just pointed out the book's name is called Nothing Lasts Forever.
Thank you, Sarang. Thank you for Googling that for us. I recommend you read the book because, you know, the more Die Hard you can get in your life, the better. But the movie certainly, don't expect the movie. The movie is certainly a little bit extra. A little je ne sais quoi.
Mm-hmm. No. All right, my friend.
Yes.
I think that was a very interesting episode for this week.
Yeah, I mean, it's Tuesday. It's Guitar Stories podcast day. We're going to release audio very, very soon because we got a bit late last week because of my illness. Apologies. But here I am, force sending you the audio files.
Awesome. Thank you very much. They'll be available tomorrow, hopefully. And I thank everyone who joined in the chat. Thanks to Anthony, who's apparently now live on his own Facebook channel. We might enter that afterwards. Also, thanks to Renee. Check out her account. She's great. And looking forward to next week. Let's see what's in store then. Thanks so much for taking time to spend the evening with us. Thanks, Andy.
Thanks, Dan. It's been a pleasure, as always.
And next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Guitar Stories Podcast, your #1 show for everything guitar.